And we're going to dive into what is the vibe of 2026? What is the focus? And why might we still not be feeling 100% in tune with it? Let's tap into what is going on energetically. Some of us are feeling really renewed, really excited, really positive for this new year. And some people are like, yeah, I want to feel that, but energetically, emotionally, physiologically, I'm not quite there yet. And so as we tap into this new calendar year, right, 2026, it's changed, right? I've just been thinking about the power of agreements, right? And the power of mass consensus and the power of all of us agreeing that on January 1st, the calendar, the date has changed. And when the date changes, the number changes. And for those of you who follow numerology, you know that numbers have power. And those of you who've done your personal numerology, and all of us have a personal numerology chart, you figure out your personal numerology by adding up your birthday, your month, and your year. And if you're curious and you want to know more about your personal numerology, you can message me or leave a comment below. But our numerology is so spot on. I've done countless people's numerological charts, and every single time, without fail, it is spot on. And so just looking at the number of 2026, we can learn a lot about what this year is going to be all about. And so if you add up 2 plus 2, of course, you get 4. If you add that to 6, you get 10. 10 comes down to 1, because in numerology, it's always 1 to 9. Of course, you have the master numbers 11 and 22, etc., 33. However, most people simply follow, 1 to 9. And so 2026 actually adds up to a 1. And in numerology, ones are all about new beginnings. It also is the start of a new 9-year cycle. So welcome everyone to the numerological new calendar year of the 1. It's very exciting, and you might be feeling that energy. It's cosmic, right? All of 2025 was sort of like this huge cosmic purge. Can you all relate to that, right? Like it was like this huge letting go. So many people were just going through it last year. It was like we were being carried into the depths of our unprocessed, buried, stuck, emotional challenges and intensities, and we were purging them, we were transmuting them, we were transforming them. And so, I want a round of applause if you're still standing here, you're still here. Maybe you're a little tired, maybe you're a little worn out, maybe you're a little wrung out. Maybe last year was a lot, okay? And so if you're still in your cave, if you're still resting, if you're still recuperating from the intensity that 2025 was, y'all, 2025 was numerologically a 9. It was the ending, it was the completion of a 9-year cycle. We had to go so deep. We had to confront and finish and complete things that we've been working on for 9 years. Okay, that's massive. Okay, not only that, but it was also the year of the snake. And what do snakes do? They shed their skin, right? They go through massive rebirth, completely renewing themselves. And so last year was busy. And it wasn't busy with big out in the world things. Maybe it was for you, depending on your personal year number. But for some of us, it was a deep inner journey. And so here we are, we're at the swirling of the wheel. Now we're into 2026. And guess what? Now we're being invited. We're like, whoa, purging, finishing up here. And maybe there's still some purging going on as you step into this new year. And there's actually a reason for that. And a lot of people have been talking about how, is this really even the start of the new year? Right? Is this even the new year? Or are we still waiting on that? Okay. And so I wanted to share with you I want to go deeper on, is this the start of the new year? Where are we at energetically in terms of being in tune with the cycles of the seasons, being in tune with nature and with the earth and with our energy? Our calendar, it's interesting if we look at the calendar, if we look at the history of the calendar, right? This goes back, this is the Gregorian calendar, right? This goes back to Rome, okay? And it's not aligned to the cycles of nature, which, the Gregorian calendar is 30, 31 days per month, right? But if you get back in tune with the earth and the cycles of nature in the earth, it's more the moon, right? The moon cycles are 28 days. If you look at a woman's menstrual cycles, they're 28 days. If you look at the humps on a turtle's back, there's 28 humps going around the circle, and there are 13 main humps that represent the 13 moons of the year. And so that's one reason I follow 13 sign astrology, because it's more in tune with nature. With that said, this right now does not actually represent the beginning of the new year in terms of being in tune with nature. What right now represents is the agreement that we have all made that follow this calendar, that we have now switched numerologically into a one. And so it's kind of a little bit, might be a bit jarring, because on one hand, energetically, the numerology, the consensus is one energy, new beginnings, time to let go, or time to begin, right? But energetically, in our bodies, and if we go out into nature, right? Some of you in the Northern Hemisphere, it's snowing, it's cold, it's winter. You're in your cave. You have the fire blazing. You wanna go get warm. You wanna crawl under the blankets, right? And we look at mass media and people are encouraging you to like go work out like in the gym and like get your year started. And that's great. And if that jives with you, then please, please, please go for it. But if we tune in energetically to the cycles of the earth right now, the Northern Hemisphere, and those of you in the Northern Hemisphere, it is winter. It is the depth of winter. And if you follow the Celtic calendar, we are actually still in winter. Winter solstice was the high point of winter, Christmas time, right? The 21st of December. And that was a powerful time, right? When the sun and the moon lined up with the galactic center, manifestation energy, which this full moon will be the first full moon since that new moon happened. Okay, so very, very powerful energy as we walk into this full moon. And in fact, in the Celtic calendar, spring or the beginning of the year really doesn't start until February 1st, right? And what's really interesting, and this is the Celtic calendar, right? They actually divide their year up very differently. And so for them, spring actually begins the 1st of February. Then the high point of spring is at the spring equinox, March 21st, followed by the beginning of summer, which is on the 1st of May. The high point of summer then becomes the summer solstice. And then autumn actually begins the first day of August. And the high point of autumn is actually at the equinox, which then places the 1st of November as the very beginning of winter. The Celtic calendar says it's their new year, right? So the Celtic calendar has their new year back in November, but spring doesn't begin until February. And so many years ago, I stopped following January 1st as like the beginning of my year, because I decided, look, the earth is going inwards. The time, the energy of the earth is inward. I want to be in tune with nature, right? I want to be in tune with the cycles of the earth. And then, so here we have Imbolc, February 2nd. That's really the time that they celebrated as the beginning of their year. And they celebrated it based on nature. That this was the time of the year when the spring flowers would start to kind of push their way up through the snow. And the ewes, right, which are the sheep, the lambs, would begin to be born. And there'd be new fresh milk right? And so February was when the beginning of the earth stirring from winter in the Northern Hemisphere began. So I was talking to my partner last night, the other night, about this time, and I was like, if you really were to tune into the cycle and seasons of the earth and align that with our new year, keeping with that, we should probably take off the entire month of January as winter vacation, and have that time for going within, for restoring our energy, for building up the prana, the energetic body, so that we can have the start of a new year that's more rich, it's more full, it's more bountiful, right? And so if you're at home and they're like, okay, it's all this New Year's celebration, and on New Year's itself, you're like, I just want to stay in and like go to sleep and rest. Well, you're not alone. That's what the energy of the Northern Hemisphere is vibrating. If you're in the Southern Hemisphere and it's high summer, you might be feeling a little differently right now. But here in the Northern Hemisphere, many of us are in Canada. It's like snowing, it's the depths of winter. And if you look at the Celtic calendar, you'll see that Yule, which is the winter solstice, is actually the very high point of winter. And so we literally just passed, we're a couple weeks away from the highest point of winter, the deepest part of winter. And we're not going to be returning to like energetic awakening of the earth until February. So if you're at home scratching your head, like, gosh, every January, I don't feel super motivated to go out and exercise. I'm starting to get new ideas. I want to set new intentions, but maybe the energy like is not as fully online for that. I want to invite you to give yourself an extra month, right? Give yourself an extra moon cycle to rest, to tune into yourself, to listen to your body. And it's interesting that both the Celtic calendar says that their beginning of their year is February. And then if you look at the Chinese New Year, which we're all been hearing so much about, that doesn't begin officially until the beginning of February as well, about, I think, February 4th or so. It's interesting, the Chinese New Year begins at the first new moon in February, and then its peak is at February 17th, the first full moon in February is when it all begins, right? And so many of us, Carlo, thank you for sharing. He said, no wonder we are so tired at work. Yeah, we're not designed to be out of sync with the earth. We're designed to be in rhythm with the cycles and the seasons of the earth, right? And so isn't it interesting that in both the Celtic calendar and in the Chinese calendar, their new year doesn't really even begin until February. And here we are right in the dead of winter, January 1st, proclaiming, okay, the start of the new year, you're going to start everything fresh. You're going to go out and I mean, what are we thinking, right? It's not in congruence with the earth. It's not in congruence with how we feel. Carlos saying, no wonder we're so tired at work. Yeah. And if I was president, or if I had, how many of us would vote like, hey, can we take January off? Can that be like a yearly self-care, self-replenishment time where we actually feed our beings and we rest and we dream? So if you're really excited and you're feeling this January energy, this new moon energy, this new year energy, I want to really invite you to, instead of feeling the pressure that you have to like go out and do something, I highly recommend planning. Like, it's a really good time to plan, right? Because it's so quiet, it's so dark in the Northern Hemisphere, it's so cold. Plan, set intentions, dream build, but allow yourself to rest and to replenish. In Ayurvedic medicine, for instance, we're in the coldest, darkest time of the year here in the Northern Hemisphere, and they recommend not overexerting yourself while that energy is high, right? And so here we are. We're heading into the year of the fire horse. It's very exciting. It's big energy. I mean, look at this energy. Fire is action. horse is galloping, running forward, charging forwards. It's all about action. And so you can feel that energy building, but it might not land yet. It might not fully land until February. And so if you're like chomping at the bit, you're ready for it to be here already. I mean, how many of you are like pretty done with with the wood snake, right? It's really asked us to go so deep. And for a lot of us, that's uncomfortable. And so if you're really ready to charge forwards, hey, I'm right there with you. But give yourself some time. Let yourself digest, right? Let yourself really be present with where you're at. Because if you look at the energetics of the earth right now, right? Is it really, do you really feel in your body like you want to move, right? Or are you kind of more gestating? Are you still hibernating, right? I love this picture I found, especially for those of us in the Northern Hemisphere, of the cave, right? And I know that the world is saying it's the new year, it's time to come out of your cave, it's time to start over. Hey, they don't even, look at the shadow, right? Every year we look at the shadow in February to see what kind of year it's going to be. Well, the groundhog hasn't come out of its cave yet, right? Nature has not woken up yet in the Northern Hemisphere. Those of you in the Southern, I know it's high summer where you are. Go out and play. You're fine. Disregard this. This message is for those of us in the Northern Hemisphere who are being told it's the beginning of the year, time to get busy, time to start those new cycles. Yes, numerologically, by the calendar, we are now in a 1 year. Nature, the earth, is still in the deepest, most quiet, most internal time. And so if you're tired, if you need more rest, please give yourself that rest. Please take your time. Please don't let the narrative stop you from listening to your own body. Please listen to what your body needs, because it will tell you when your body is ready to go out there and start running and jogging and moving, it will tell you. Okay? And Carlos sharing, doing simple tasks at work was challenging today. Yeah, because we're designed to hibernate a little bit, just like bears go in their cave during the winter. Human beings also need to quiet our nervous systems. We need to turn the lights down. We need to go within. If you think about the cycle of nature, the yin and the yang, right? You could say that the high point of winter solstice, would be the deepest yin, the most quiet, the most darkest period of the year. And then directly opposite that would be the greatest yang, which is summer solstice. During yin time, the body is more quiet. It needs more rest. It needs more restoration. It needs to go within. The black of the yin yang means quiet, silence, retreat. And then you get to the summer solstice, that would be the greatest white of the yin yang. That's when we're the most external. And so it's very, I'm sure, confusing on one hand to be told that the calendar has changed. It's the new year, right? Time to start, have new energy. We can't command and demand our bodies to be out of sync with nature. It just does not work like that. Okay, so I really felt compelled to get on here and share with you the reality of, yes, we have moved into the calendar year of a 1. Yes, it is a new beginning. Yes, it is new energy. But nature is not going to start to awaken and give you that new beginning physical energy until February, right? February 1st, which is the Celtic beginning of spring, and Chinese New Year also in February, which is their beginning of their year. And so the fire horse does not even begin until February. So if you're feeling tired like Carlo, and things at work are challenging because you're wanting to rest, right? See if you can take some time off, right? See if you can maneuver some extra rest into your life. If you can slow down your schedule somehow, right? Bring more ease into your life. And even though this is a 1 for new beginnings, this is so much of a time still for the Northern Hemisphere of the cave, right? So instead of thinking you have to actively, physically go out there and start new things and do new things and get those projects started, can you be lenient with yourself? Can you give yourself a chance to honor how you're feeling, right? For those of you who follow human design, I just started doing True to the Stars 13 sign astrology human design readings, and I'm going to incorporate human design into all of my readings going forwards because one of the things I learned, and most people who use human design are actually using mainstream astrology, which is often inaccurate to what their actual type is. And so if you're curious to find out what your true the sign human design sign is, I am offering a 2026 reading that does include human design. It includes numerology. It includes what the focus for you is for this year, both what your planet is and what your number is. And that's really, really powerful. And I will actually be sharing that live for everyone on our call tomorrow on the full moon. Michael and I are going to be doing a live call starting at 2 p.m. If you want to join that, I do need your birth date information as soon as possible so I can create your chart. If this resonates with you, if you'd like to come and join us, because I'd like to prepare you. I'd like to give you some insight for how can you best prepare for 2026, because it's going to be different for each of us, right? It is the year of the one. The real fire and energy of the year is not going to really hit until February. But your personal year focus might be different than the one. And so it's very helpful to know what that is. So if you're interested, you can leave a comment below and I can message you, or you can direct message me and say you're interested and send me your birth date information, and I'm happy to get you a link. It is a paid event, but very, very low pricing, and it would be awesome to get to share that with you all. Okay, so Celtic Spring begins February 1st. Okay. Chinese New Year begins in February as well. And we have entered the numerological number of 1, right? And so this is all about new beginnings. This is powerful energy. This is the beginning of a 9-year cycle. This is very exciting. However, the energy to really put that into motion may not fully arrive until February. And that was one reason I wanted to create this video, was to bring you that information so that you're like, okay, where's the energy for it? Where's the spark? I'm not feeling it. It's not happening for me yet. Give it some time. It's coming. And what's really cool is what planet the year of 1 is associated with, because every number is associated with a planet in astrology. And that's why it's really fun to do astrology readings with the numerology, because you can get a lot of interesting cross information, right? So we know that it's the year of 1, right? So 1s are new beginnings. Well, the number 1 is actually associated with the sun, right? How cool is that? And so last year, the year of 9 was associated with both Mars, which is like action, and Neptune, which can be illusion. And it can be imagination and dreams, and it can also be hard to make things happen, right? And so this next year, though, is the sun. And I love this quote from Rumi, the great poet. Don't you know yet that it is your light that lights the world? And so if I had to put into one sentence, what is 2026 all about? Knowing that it's the year of 1, knowing that the year of 1 is associated with the sun, I would say that it's all about being you, being yourself, and shining. And I had this great conversation with my dear friend Adeline. I know you're watching this, so at some point, so hi. And we were talking about the power of being ourselves, right? The power of being who we are. And that it's through that we can achieve the greatest things. And it's through that we're often the most appreciated. And it is through that we can often actually help other people the most. And so the sun in astrology is all about being who we are. it represents our soul, right? How do we shine? You know, some people really shine when they're being funny. For others of us, when we try to be funny, it doesn't land right because it's not just our natural way of being. For others of us, we're just naturally kind and gentle. And for some of us, others of us, we're very adventurous and we have this spark and this joy and this enthusiasm. And so the year of one really invites us and asks us to put away all the false ways that we can be. You know, when we try too hard, or we're trying to impress people, we're trying to be more or better or different. Just put all that away. Enough, right? And actually ask yourself, like, who am I really? How would I act in this situation? What do I really feel? What do I really think? And it's through that that the year of 2026 will be your biggest gift and your biggest ally. And what are some of the other attributes of the sun? Well, the sun loves to shine, right? It loves to shine its light. And so a question to ask yourself is, how do I love to shine my light, right? What is the biggest gift that, you know, when I'm doing this or when I'm giving this, gosh, I am glowing, right? I'm shining. I'm just so full of light because that's what the sun is. The sun is light. And so the year of one really invites us and asks us, how do I shine? What is my light? Right? What do I do that brings me the greatest joy? What do I do that brings me the greatest light? What lights me up like a Christmas tree, right? Since we just had Christmas, right? What lights me up like that? What lights me up like a star? What is that thing that when I do it, people all around are just like, wow, you're glowing, right? And so the year of one really asks us to tune into that, to focus on it, to bring more of that into being. Now, in addition to it being the year of the one, we all also have what's called a personal year number. And I've been sharing this with everyone that I can to try and give you that information. And tomorrow, during our full moon live event, I will also be sharing that with you if you want to jump on. But if you're here now and you want to drop the information in the chat, I can tell you what 2026 your personal year number will be. And so you might ask, well, how do I figure that out? Well, simply put the month you were born and the day into the chat, and I can tell you what your personal year number will be. And so I can tell you all about what the year number for everyone, the collective is, right? The one, about shining and choosing who we are. But I can also tell you what your personal year number is. So if you want to know that information, if you're watching it live, if you're watching it on the replay, just put into the chat your day of birth and your month number. And I can tell you what that is. And now it's just so fascinating to find out what your personal year number will be, because it's probably going to be different than what the collective is. And so by knowing what your specific personal year number is, I can then combine that with the year of one and say, well, this is the area where you're going to shine, right? This is the area you want to focus on so that you can shine the brightest, right? And so since one is all about that solar energy, that light, it's important to be thinking about, what brings me the greatest light? What brings me the greatest joy? How do I light myself up? How do I light other people up, right? It's just such powerful energy, the sun. And in astrology, the sun also represents, it's really interesting, the symbol for the sun is actually a circle with a dot in the center. And what that represents is being very self-focused, like being very much, you are the center of the universe, right? And so ones, right, number one, is really about bringing your focus and attention back to you, back to number one, right? Who you are, what you want, why are you here? And then what are you most excited about? And so year ones are all about focusing on that. And tomorrow, as we go into this year of one, January 3rd, I keep saying December, January 3rd, wow, we're already in January, is the full moon, wolf moon. And so whether you join us for our live astrology call update, and then we're going to do energy clearing to clear all of your blocks, to stepping into your full potential of what 2026 is all about for you. It's a full moon in Gemini, and Gemini is the sign of the twins. It's the sign of communication. It's the sign of networking. It's the sign of marketing. It's the sign of information and learning and sharing. It's a very powerful energy, especially if you work in the realms of communication or you're someone who does a lot of networking. This is a time where you might see some manifestation. And for those of you who joined us at the time of December 19th, which is when the sun and the moon aligned with the galactic center, which is the most powerful manifestation point of the entire galaxy, this is the 2-week culmination of the manifestation of that point. And so for those of you who joined us for that event, are you seeing any manifestations yet? And what are you manifesting? What are you seeing? What are you noticing? This is when that seed that we all planted, we all worked really hard to clear our blocks, to set our intention and plant that seed at that time, December 18th, 19th. And so what is being birthed? What is being brought to life? What is growing? And so tomorrow at the full moon event, it starts at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And then Michael and I will be doing energy clearing at 3 p.m. We are going to be clearing the blocks that the full moon brings up. And I don't know if you know this or not, but the full moon is literally the most powerful time to clear energy blocks because the moon is super magnetic. And it actually has a similar effect on our bodies and the fluids in our bodies that it does at the ocean, right? So remember a time when you've been standing at the ocean with your feet in the sand and you could feel the pull of the water on your feet. That is the gravitational pull of the moon, right? The moon is literally creating that tug of energy on your being. And so what it does to our body is it pulls up to the surface stuck stuff, buried stuff, old dense energies that have been hiding out, if you will, up to the surface. And so that's why full moons can sometimes feel very intense. And Carlo mentioning feeling tired, that could have a lot to do with it being the full moon eve today. Because the full moon is literally happening in several hours, the full peak, right? And so if you want to really maximize your ability to clear, right, your ability to fully transmute and transform, come and join us. We're going to be clearing, we're going to be going deep into, what is in the way for each of us to fully step into our full, most beautiful, shining, luminous potential as beings for 2026. What's in the way of us feeling energized and activated and being in tune with nature, but also taking steps forward? What's in the way of us dreaming bigger? What's in the way of us having more? What's in the way of us fully enjoying 2026 and allowing this year to unfold in its most graceful, beautiful, and powerful way? New Year's Eve was like a really tough day for me for some reason. And I ended up doing massive amounts of clearing, like massive amounts in one day. I couldn't believe how much clearing I did. And today I have been feeling so much better because I confronted and faced stuff that I probably haven't dealt with for lifetimes, right? Hundreds of lifetimes, it feels like. And so a lot of times that stuff is what's getting in the way of us moving forwards. Today, my friend and I worked on clearing vows of poverty and vows of silence and just all these vows of ways of being that, in other lifetimes made sense, right? We were taught in other lifetimes, by the church that in order to be close to God, we needed to be poor, or that in order to be close to God, we, couldn't have sex, or in order to be close to God, we had to be silent, right? We need to not speak. And all those vows, my friend, after we did the clearing, she's like, gosh, like I've been trying to move forwards, right? And I have been trying to figure out what the heck is holding me back. And she's like, and I just feel so much better. And the things that were stressing me out are friggin' gone. Like, I don't feel stressed about money at all. I don't feel stressed about what I'm going to do or how I'm going to do it. I just feel excited. I just feel open. I just feel free. And that's really the powerful sensation when we clear and we release what's in the way of our forward movement. It's so beautiful and it's so powerful. And I just wish everyone knew the power of energy clearing, to be able to transmute and transform what's in our way, because it's usually not what we think. It's usually not the outside circumstance. I mean, it never is the outside circumstance. It's always something in us that is creating that outside circumstance. And it's just so, so, so powerful to do that. And Carlo's sharing, I'm going to do some clearing tonight. Yes, great, Carlo. Carlo, you've been in our master class training and you've been learning the clearing techniques that we use. And it's been amazing because almost every event you come to, you're sharing a huge win or money manifesting or something happening that like, we're like, wow, you're like, yeah, I did this clearing. I used the techniques you taught me. And now this bonus came in, or this new better job came in. And it's just been so beautiful to witness you and watch you clear and use the training we're giving. And if you know how to clear, this is a really good time to clear. And if you want to come get some support and be in a really beautiful group, Michael and I actually created this phenomenal membership that we've been sharing with you guys more and more because we're super proud of it. And it's just a wonderful way to be in a supportive environment and clear energy together and tune into the planetary astrological energies and the cycles of the earth and the moon, and then clear in alignment with that. And so our clearing call tomorrow is free for all of our members. And so what is this membership? I should probably tell you. The membership, it's a monthly membership, so it's a monthly payment. And what you get with it is you get 4 energy clearing calls a month to clear your energy. You come in, you meet in a group, and we clear that energy together, and you just leave feeling so much lighter and brighter and just so much better. And then you also get a new moon energy clearing and a full moon energy clearing event where we tap into the cycles of the moon, we tune into the astrological energies, and we clear the stuff that could be getting in the way of your progress. Additionally, as a bonus, we're like, how can we make this even better? You also get 2 free energy clearing sessions with us yearly, right? So for every 6 months, you get a free session to just tap in and do some specific energy work together with either Michael or myself. And it's a wonderful community. I really love and appreciate all of you so much. You're just awesome people. And it really amazes us like how committed and steadfast you all are coming to all of the events, doing all the clearings. And it just really shows your commitment to your own personal work, right? Your own personal growth. And I want to really applaud all of you. Our group last year, 2025, was tremendous, was awesome, was spectacular. Your successes and wins just blow my mind every time I hear about them. And I'm really excited. We're really excited for 2026 and making it literally the best year ever, and really assisting you all to step into your fullness, your greatness, your full potential, and teach you and guide you and give you the support you need to clear the blocks that could be in the way of you manifesting that divine vision, image, message you have within your heart. So I just want to send you all so much love and gratitude and appreciation, and wish you all just a beautiful full moon. The power of the full moon is really in its ability to magnetize and pull up to the surface stuck dense energy and bring it up to the surface. And so tomorrow at 2 p.m., I will be sharing what is your numerological year number and what is the planetary energy associated with that year number. I will also be going into what sign the sun and moon are in and what does that mean about this full moon energy? How might it be affecting you? And so if you want to learn what your personal year number is, you can come to our event tomorrow, or if you want, you can leave in the chat your month and your day number. And I can share that with you, and that can help you understand and go deeper with what is the year of one all about? What does it mean? How might it be manifesting for you? And tomorrow, I'm going to be, so every number, right? So what your specific number is going to be associated with a planet, right? So for example, let's say it's a year of one for the collective, and let's say it's a year of one for you. So personal year number. You are starting a new 9-year epicycle. Everything you do now will affect your future. Be direct, daring, and bold, right? So knowing what your personal year number is for 2026 is going to help you plot your course. It's going to help you know your direction. It's going to help you to really get clear on what you want to create. And tomorrow I'll be sharing that information with you in the group, as well as what is your planet, what is your planetary energy that rules that number, so that you can better tune into that frequency, right? So we know that for the collective, that planetary energy, the planet that rules the number is one. And ones are all about new beginnings, and the planet that rules one is the sun, which is about shining. And so overall, collectively, the year of 2026 is really about being who you are, starting new things, new beginnings, and shining like the sun. So thank you all so much for joining me tonight on this first live of 2026 here at the eve of the first full moon of 2026. Full moons, of course, are all about completion. They're all about birth. They're all about full expression. And they can be some of the, there goes my camera, the most triggering times of the entire monthly cycle. And that's because the energy of the moon is so magnetic, and it pulls up to the surface everything that needs to be brought up so that you can be the best version of yourself. So come join us tomorrow. We begin at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Leave your birthday or your month number in the chat if you want to find out what your 2026 number is, or come join us for a deep dive into what 2026 will be for you astrologically, your year number, your year planet, and then come do some energy clearing work with Michael and I to clear the blocks, the things that might be in the way for you stepping forward on your path, your mission, and your purpose. Sending you all immense love, immense light, and with the deepest wish from my heart to your heart, that this coming 2026 be filled with love, be filled with connection, be filled with joy, be filled with you loving yourself, appreciating yourself, honoring yourself, and choosing to shine, choosing to be yourself, choosing to be seen for who you are, to share who you are, to give your gifts out to the world. So sending you so much love, biggest hugs, aloha.
Footsteps in the frost, breath cloud in the dark, calendar still sleeping, clock hides its spark. shadow, finding their way home. Bodies in their blankets, dreaming through the chill. Pictures of a future flicker then stand still. I taste